Go on, sir.
How you doing?
How you doing?
All right. Nice to meet you. All right. So, what did you want to cover? Because the officer I spoke to today, he said basically that I was to send him in his personal email. He said to send him.
Who's that officer? The station officer? Okay. All right.
He said that send him the
Okay. So what is this evidence?
I have for admitting to the crime, confessing, okay.
What crime?
And saying that if he doesn't do what she tells him to do, then she is going to take away his services. He's 91 years old. He in his mind is what brings her to even though like any one of us had a dog, what she does is that she uses hierarchies where she's at the top. And she splits everybody in the family up so that they all think that they have to compete for her account when she plays in the And so with him, it's I who are the future, I'm going to take it to the doctor's office. So if I stop doing this for you, how are you doing?
Can anybody else take care of him?
So, he's dead now.
Okay, so where did he pass away
So,
at?
at home.
Okay, so was he under the care of a doctor or nurse at the time?
He was under her.
Okay, so did the police come? Nobody came?
When he died?
Yeah.
No.
Did,
What's it called? Sutherland.
Okay, so was he in hospice?
A hospice guy came once. I only saw him one time. He was a man. I don't know his name. But see, she was very shady. She didn't want anybody to go near her. And, with some other background context. Is that she is a high school dropout. She doesn't have any medical training.
Okay, so when he passed away, okay, if you're not under the care of a doctor, nurse, or medical professional, it's called unattended death. Okay, so the authorities come out. Okay, the police come out. Usually a detective comes out. Okay, then they're going to contact the medical examiner's office, see if the medical examiner's office wants to take jurisdiction of the remains. Okay, so you don't just die at home and nobody comes out. But you said that the funeral service came out. So when they're in hospice care, then they don't call us. All right, so that's considered to be a natural. Well, okay, but that's why I'm asking you if he was in hospice. Was he in hospice care?
Like I said, I only saw a guy came over once. I know that there was paperwork for hospice on the counter, right? And they put him on hospice, and the guy came out one time and introduced himself or whatever, right? But as far as them coming in every day and checking on him or doing his medications or anything like that, that was it. They didn't look at him. I only saw one person one time. But he was officially on hospice care.
Okay, that's why we didn't come out. So that's considered a natural death. Okay, so that's why the police weren't there, the medical examiner's office didn't get called, etc. It was just the funeral people.
Yeah.
He was under hospice care. It's a natural death.
My grandmother too. Over the years, I'm 43. She's been doing this to me since I moved here in 1994, since I was 14 years old. And I've been telling people that she's been fucking with me for years.
Okay, then why don't you get away from her?
I tried. That was my initial plan.
Can you? Why not?
Because that's why this is a long story. It goes back to the 90s.
Are you being held hostage?
When I was working in medical.
Okay, so you're saying you're
filing.
So you're saying you're dependent upon her?
I'm dependent on living in it's my grandfather's property, and then he's my adopted father as well. And then my mother lives there, and then it's
Currently.
me.
Currently, your mother lives.
My mother lives there as well.
Okay.
That's right. Now, she used to own that home in the, I don't remember which year she actually bought it, and then my grandparents bought it from her. And then when she moved out, she bought the property next door. So she lives at 1502.
Your mother lives next door, or your sister lives next door? Your aunt.
Correct.
Your aunt lives. So
the relationships I know are kind of.
All right. So you and your biological mother live in the house, and then your aunt lives next door.
My biological mother and my grandfather, who is my adopted father,
who has passed away.
right?
Who has passed away.
Exactly. We live in that house.
Okay.
And then next door is my aunt, and then she has 13 kids.
Okay.
Okay. That's the.
So you live in a family house. You live in a family house with your mom.
Exactly.
Okay.
Now, originally when this happened, she lived in that house.
Okay.
Okay, in 1994. And I was sent down here from New York in 1994. My mother had since left the picture at that time. I didn't know my real dad. And that's when my grandparents adopted me in 1992. And so in the 90s, when all this started, that's when she would beat me before school. I'd go to school with black eyes and bloody lips and things like that. And my mindset when I was a kid was that, I had already no parents. My grandparents just sent me down here to live with her. I didn't really know who she was. She was my aunt. And last time I saw her, I was a kid, like 5 years old, something like that. All I knew was Panama City, beach town, fun, gay, Next thing I know, I'm getting beat on and abused. And
by your aunt. And
yes.
what year was this?
This was 94, 5, 6, 7, 8, right? And she's telling me that if I tell anyone, there's nobody else left to go. I'm going to end up in foster homes, and they're worse than what I have it now. And I should be lucky that I have what I have, and that nobody's going to love me, nobody's going to take me, and that that's it. It's the end of the line. So I need to be grateful that she's even doing this to me, and it's a favor.
So what about your mom?
My mom was in the picture that time, and she left when I was 12. So at that point in time, I didn't know any better. I'm 14 years old. I think I'm screwed and I'm stuck,
So what do you want now?
And then
what do you want? What do you? I know, but you're
jump around all over the place.
I know, but what do you want right now?
I tried. That's why I'm stuck there. You know what I'm saying? So I did try to move out at 18 years old, and I stayed gone for many, many years, and then I became disabled at age 30.
How? Like physically disabled?
Correct. I've brought this down on my lawyers. They're filing for disability.
Okay.
I have dysautonomia. I've got neck and back problems from 3 places. I have seizures, headaches, anxiety problems, all kinds of things. I can go into neurological shock. Not supposed to be. I have to have a certain diet. I have to eat. I have to sleep. I have to take, half a dozen medications. All kinds of crap. Everything is done just perfect. Exactly. Like even stress makes me feel pain. Most doctors don't even know what dysautonomia is. It's a very complicated thing. It's rare and there's no cure and people can't really figure it out. So it's something that I may even one day die from because I could get progressively worse.
Is this genetic?
Dysautonomia? No. I do have stuff that is genetically wrong.
Okay, so what causes this disorder?
Dysautonomia? Nobody knows.
Okay.
We don't.
So it's unknown. Unknown.
It's kind of a catch-all. Like you said, who knows? So, but it's a dysfunction of the autonomic nervous system. So, we go more detail. And my aunt, she does not think that illnesses are real. She is one of those religious nut jobs that thinks that I am possessed by the devil, and that if I would just come to Jesus and pray, then I would be magically healed. And despite all of the mountain of medical evidence that I have, that I am faking my illness, all the doctors are wrong. We are all lying, and that this is some attempt for me just to manipulate my grandfather to stay at home so that I can sponge on him for the rest of my life. Despite the fact being in that house is the last place I would rather be. And I did everything in my power to never go there because I didn't even want to be that close to her to begin with. That's kind of important to the story because it shows her mentality in the way that that's why she doesn't want anyone in the hospital to begin with. And that goes back to the way she handled my grandfather's care, she handled my grandmother's care, and she also took care of my great-grandparents in the 1990s. And it wasn't, like I said, this is something that I had to see over a long period of my lifetime to where once I saw how she was treating him, and I looked back at how she's handled my grandmother and how she handled my great-grandfather and my great-grandmother, that I started to realize there's a pattern here, and that all four of them died under her care, and she always benefited somehow or some way, gained power, got money from all of those cares. And it all came from the first one dying.
Now did she inherit money?
She get the house.
Okay.
You know, like for example, when she
these are all civil issues.
I understand that, but
okay.
It goes, like I said, some of that's old, and you can't necessarily prove it because it's back in the day. But some of this stuff is absolutely provable when it comes to my grandfather.
Okay.
Because when it comes to my grandfather, like I said, she's on tape threatening him, and then my mother.
So you recorded her?
Yes.
Did you record her with her knowledge?
We were in the house.
Okay.
You know,
did you record her without her knowledge?
No, that she was being recorded.
Okay, no, that's illegal in Florida.
If it's as far as I know, because I've used this in other cases,
yeah.
I've won civil judgment amount of $15,000 by taking recordings of people. So
in Florida?
Yeah.
Without their knowledge?
Yeah.
Where?
Here. I can't speak about the case because it was a settlement case.
Is this other family members?
But
were you in your own bedroom or something, or? Was it phone conversations?
It was at work.
You recorded people without their knowledge?
Yeah.
Okay, it's illegal.
And that was I took it to my lawyers, and I reported them to Pam Bondi at the time, who was the state. I forget the number. Like I said,
these recordings, what are these recordings of?
So the recordings, like I said, I have dozens of them in multiple files, and they're not only of her, but they are of her admitting that if he comes to my defense or protects me anyway from her, that she will cut him off and basically do what I just told her she would threaten me and say that I'm not going to. I'll be out of your life so fast your head will spin. No more. No more cooking.
So let me ask you this:
so
she's saying that she's going to uninvolve herself in these family members' lives?
Yes, blackmail.
Okay.
Basically,
So is that
if he defends me or sticks up for me, right? She is going to uninvolve herself in his life by not taking care of him as an elderly person.
Okay. No.
Her behavior towards.
Did she have power of attorney of him, or is there some kind of arrangement?
I don't know that arrangement or whatever.
Okay.
But either way, you can't tell an old guy who's 90 years old that you're going to do what I tell you to do unless you treat this person this way. And that's not legal.
What law? Is it under elderly abuse?
Yeah, it's. I'll give you the statute.